Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sports Talk Network channel. Welcome here tonight for my review for a TV show that I gave a shot last season, its first season. I actually did a video about it. Um, when that was a year ago, 2 years ago, whenever that was due to air. But Netflix original series, 13 Reasons Why. Excuse me, sorry about that. 13 Reasons Why. So here I want to give my thoughts on season two and everything that went down, and so forth. And we're going to be talking about TV's most controversial series. That is back and returned last Friday, and season two is out and everything. It was a pretty interesting season two. Like, interesting in the fact of how they continue things after actual tapes. Like, if I remember correctly, from the end of season one, there still was some tapes that still weren't heard, as in for the audience to hear, let alone, with the characters, whatever. But moving forward into the next season, it's like all the tapes were read. And if I remember correctly, they weren't all. Right? There was a 13 reasons, 13 tapes, and with the titles of the video or titles of each episode, of course, it's each tape going through. And there's only like 10 or 11 episodes, so it was going on through 13 reasons, all 13 tapes, and I'm sure there's even more tapes beyond that. So, did they not remember that they didn't do it at all? Did I miss something and where they did more than a couple of tapes in an episode? Or this and that? You know, tape one side A, tape one side B, tape 13 side B, this and that. Like um, reading an essay and forgetting the person typed it and printed it double sided. You know what I mean? And forgetting the whole second side. So maybe I missed that part. Point is, it still was an interesting second season, like I stated, and to me, interesting because of how this staff and the writers continued the series and no longer doing any actual tapes, really, just more of the aftermath from those tapes, from everything that happens, within the season in itself, building to the season finale, throughout the whole season. But either way, 13 Reasons Why is most definitely, to me and to most, I would think, then again, I don't want to put words in other people's mouths, right? The most argued about show on television right now. On one side, there are parents, teachers, and mental health professionals, along with just people in general, um, that advise teens and even adults against watching. I understand the teen side of it, but adults, I don't know, it's kind of interesting to try to regulate that, right? I mean, there are laws to regulate adults doing things called societal laws, actual laws governed, and otherwise. Teens, it's easier because as parents or as the adults, you can, to an extent, of course, tell a teen what to do and not to do, or advise them to not to do. Sometimes you have to let it be in the hands of a teen to decide to do with this or that, whether it's watching a TV show like this, which in the scheme of things of life that they could get themselves into is low level, but still, watching a TV show like 13 Reasons Why on Netflix, which is a very highly popular internet streaming device, medium, as I call it, or media there, which is awesome. I do really enjoy Netflix. I've tried Hulu with the whole free month stuff, and it's not bad. It's just the look of Netflix is visually aesthetic pleasing to me. But point being is, regardless of that in general, 13 Reasons Why is interesting. And on the other side, you do have the super fans of school age who relate strongly to the protagonist Hannah, a victim of misogyny, rape culture, and casual sexism. So you have those both sides of the fence that why this show is the most arguably to me TV show that is airing right now. Or I would even argue most argued about TV show on both sides of the aisle, whether it's political reasons or other reasons or specific reasons, as I just stated earlier, as in just earlier, literally 2 minutes ago. Then even TV shows that finished airing, most recently in the last 2 years. But you know what that does? It makes the conversation happen. Whether you're on the side of parents, teachers, and mental health professionals, or the side of the superfans of the show itself, and school-age kids that relate to Hannah herself, either because they know someone that's gone through that, or they themselves have gone through that, bullying and otherwise. That's obviously your own call. Welcome to let me know in the comment section below which side do you stand and what do you think of the show and how it runs over this. Because both sides do have a point. It's extremely questionable to show actual suicide on screen, like actual act of it happening that they did in season 1. I know they did the show realism, but that can be traumatizing to a younger kid that's watching. And I mean younger than teenagers, because you never know younger kids should be watching it. Whether their parents letting them or they do it on their own. With older friends or however. So it could be. Could also be learning. For both of them. So, or for another teenager, an older teenager, let's say. And for me, I actually mean teenager, 17 years and under. When you're 18, you're officially adult. I know older people, and that might even be now my age, 30-year-olds, that call 18 to 20-year-olds teenagers too. But no, they're adults. They're full grown adults, they're legal. But teenagers 17 and under, which are minors and not legal, that's where it's supposed to be. On the sense of why I say both sides have a point, which is why it's the most argued TV show, right? Because both sides do have a point. Both sides can rationally argue and share their point of view, and I'd be like, yes, you're right there, or yes, you're right there. If you agree, me, to be quite honest, individually, I guess, even though I am a middle-of-the-road thinker as I am politically as well, see everybody's points of views. Which side would I actually be on if I had to pick? Besides parent-teacher mental health or super fans and school-age kids that relate to Hannah, which side would I be on? I actually am on the side of the super fans, school-age kids, and those that can relate strongly to Hannah, to the character Hannah, the protagonist of the show. So, at least that's where I stand individually. Where do you stand? You're welcome to let me know. Whether you agree or disagree with me, that's fine too. But that's why this show is the most argued TV show, because both sides do have a point. But as I want to share here with the numbers, I like my math. I was part of math club in high school, along with DECA, Octagon Club, FBLA, and others. I was part of Math League. But a recent study and DECA, right? I did say DECA. I don't want to forget DECA. I won awards with DECA organization in my high school when I was in school. 2002 to 2006. Anyways, but a recent study shows 71% of teens were more likely to discuss to their parents and to adults their problems after watching the show. If they have any, or if they know of someone else that does have any. So surely a good thing all around. I think that was the point of having this show here, to have that conversation. And I think that's the reason why they did show that scene in season 1. There, I didn't think they would. I didn't. I thought it would be a situation where maybe they show her with it, like even that being strong enough, or maybe even having a razor blade close to her arm, but not actually doing it. Because that was tough to watch. The first time I actually didn't even watch, I just heard it, like, because I was still playing it on my Kindle Fire device, and where I usually watch my Netflix and Netflix shows and stuff. And I was just like this, just looking away, but hearing it. It's like, oh, my cringe face, which is not a sexy face, but it's still what I was. Then when I rewatched the whole season, because I enjoy it, I actually did finally watch it through. Like, actually watch it, wanting to turn away, but watched it. There's like the rape scene that they showed with Bryce and the other girl, which I'm sorry, I forget her name. That was cringe to watch the first time too. The difference is with that one, I watched it through the first time visually and not turn away like I did with the Hannah suicide scene. But like I said, I was surprised they showed that suicide scene. I really was. Especially, again, for the age group that they were targeting the show to. And that's just, again, my opinion. But season 2, which did hit Netflix Friday last week, of course, doesn't contain any scenes of Hannah's suicide or rape or anything specific in that sense, at least that, unless I missed something. But it does for sure not steer clear of controversy either, right? It does have some controversy, but it certainly was interesting and entertaining. When I'm saying interesting, it was entertaining, and I certainly did enjoy it. And from how it's ended, we are going to get a season 3. how many seasons total will we get of this show, of this thing, as long as it's allowed to be on air, really. You know me, my magic number is always 10 seasons. Like, it was a good show. I know if I individually like it, I want it for 10 seasons. But for this one, maybe 4 to 6 would be good. You don't want to have a show too long where it outstays welcome, i.e. Gravity Falls. It ended at the right time. Didn't need to continue there on Disney XD. Castle ended at the right time. Beyond the backstage politicking issues, whether true or not, still in the end, as in with the characters and the storylines, when it ended, and it was good for it. So for here, for this show, for 13 Reasons Why, and how far you can take this and continue it, it could go up to 6 seasons. You could. You know, they showed in season 1 of a flashback. I know I'm talking about all this before we actually dive into season 2. I guess I apologize if you just wanted to hear my season 2 thoughts. But going backtrack on season 1, there was that episode and little scenes of a flashback of if Hannah and Anga actually date and actually were happy together and this and that, and what would have been and if they would have went to college together and got married or whatever. Late in a later season 3 or season 4, and this is to the creators and to Netflix, specifically the creators of the show because it's their show. But for an idea for one of an episode in the next couple of seasons, I say have what could have been seen of Hannah maybe with her own kids. You know, or this and that, you know, of what could have been. But then also show the realism of how, you know, society does affect others because of that. Because of that, what could have been. Not only the parents. And that's a lot what we got in this season too, right? How it affected everybody of her suicide and of the tapes coming out. And how as much as you just wanted her story to come out, it also did seem vengeful in her, in others' minds, of what Hannah did and being pretty selfish. But she got to a point where she felt like she had to do that. Again, another reason why this show was argued about showing both sides of the aisle, wherever you stand. Either way. Anyways, let's talk about season 2 because that's what we're here to do. Season 2, 13 Reasons Why, Netflix original. We pick up immediately after the events of last season. Hannah's mom is preparing for a long court battle against her daughter's school, Liberty High. She says they didn't do enough to help her cope, and she may be right. In each new episode, a different character takes the stand, which is interesting. You know, it's pretty much the court case, and each story, always going through like their tape again. In a sense, they're each individual side of things of the story of the last months and days and otherwise of Hannah's life. Which I still like that continuation of doing things that way of the story building. I mean, there are new sides to the story, right? They even show past clips within these new episodes of like Hannah's friend. Oh crap! You know, this is sounding really bad because I'm not going actually saying the names. But Hannah's friend with that guy that talked to her when they were getting tickets for a movie, actually showing that again, but then continuing it on with their story and their episode, or hers or his specifically episode in season 2, continuing on talking about it. You know, that interaction. Where in season 1, it just was showing that interaction with them in the ticket booth, or by the ticket booth with Hannah, being surprised they were on a date. Those two, right? So just those little things also was pretty cool and continuity to me individually because I care about that crap. Some do, some don't. I would say most. But either way, they each end and I have provide the narration for the episode. It's more courtroom drama than a high school flick, but makes for a welcome change after season 1's restricted formats. Again, like I just said, I'm enjoying it. Meanwhile, Hannah's closest friend Clay and Hannah. See, I should have looked at my notes when I was talking about season 1. Anyways, is trying to move on. He's got a new girlfriend, bubbly a troubled Sky, which I actually was shipping that duo. As much as I was somewhat shipping Clay and Hannah, but you remember this is about Hannah Sue taking her own life. So that wasn't going to be Endgame. Anyways, back to my notes. This is why he stay on script and seems heavy. But when he's called to testify, his newfound stability crumbles. To make matters worse, he's targeted by a mysterious vigilante who threatens the witnesses to keep them quiet. This series and the second season specifically focuses less on Hannah and more on Clay and his classmates' road to recovery. Tyler makes a new friend. Makes a new friend. Rebellious friend Jack Sack sends up to rapist Bryce, and Tony tries his hardest to stay out of trouble. Each plotline is compelling and more complex than in the last season. Yes, some of their decisions don't make sense, particularly romantic ones, but one is Roger go overrule love. Because love is king. The king of kings. Yeah, I know, it's a Triple H mentioned there. Once again, the young cast are impressive. With Olivia Knight playing King and Justin Prentice, who played Bryce, on top form. But it's Alicia Bowe, who is season 2's MVP to me. She plays Jessica, who is still coming to terms with her rape by Bryce at the party, as we saw in season 1 as I talked about. She's quiet, quick, tears, and too scared to sleep in her own bed. Unsurprisingly, boyfriend Justin has vanished. Bowe brings quiet excellence to the role as she jumps from bleak hopelessness to fierce determination. Hers is a multifaceted performance that inspires admiration, not just of her, but the character too. Fans mostly be invested in Jessica's story. And for all the sorry about that, let me see here. For all that season 2 gets right, there are many things that it gets wrong. For example, it's far more violent than its predecessor, and the show's attitude to guns is troubling. Little is done to highlight the dangers of possessing a weapon, and one scene feels similar to an advertisement for an NRA membership. Though as much as it does that, I don't know if it really is the show. Yeah, I don't think so. But I can see where people might think that. And its continued presence isn't really necessary either in flashback scenes or as the ghost in Clay's mind. Though again, here I say that I did enjoy that, and I do enjoy still seeing her there, even when Clay stands up to her. An appearance here and there is fine, but every other scene is distracting to some. Ultimately, though, season 2 does enough to justify its existence, and you'll likely binge watch it faster than the first. Those who say it's run its course are missing the point. And here exactly, 13 Reasons Why was never about one girl's suicide. It's about the epidemic problem with society and shining a light on the trouble young people have to deal with on a daily basis. On that merit alone, I would say it should get another season and possibly a couple more. Like I said, season 4, season 5, season 10, season 100. But all in all, season 2 of 13 Reasons Why was very entertaining, very interesting. I certainly enjoyed the heck out of it. You find out the interesting relationship with Jock and Hannah, that secret relationship, how that all came about and was. And some other relations, at least with their parents or dad, moving on and them getting divorced. All the aftermath of Hannah's suicide and how that affected everybody. So I say here to everybody that hasn't yet seen 13 Reasons Why, should check it out. I don't know if you have Netflix or you do have Netflix or you know somebody that does. No longer. And give the show a try and let me know, again, in the comment section below or however. You can welcome to tweet me at army_strong_06 on Twitter as well. And let me know what your thoughts are on the show and if you enjoyed it. And which side of the aisle are you on? On the debate of this show, a highly debated show, of whether you think it was all right, especially in season 1, with some of the scenes that I didn't think that they would show. But I think they did it for a reason. They tried to show as much realism as they could, and they thought that doing that and showing those specific scenes was best for business and best for the show and best for the audience to understand the realism and adverse effects of Susan. So I think in that way, I think that specifically is the reason to give the show a chance if you haven't already. I'm sure most of you already have. You wouldn't be watching this video if you weren't. And if you didn't see any of the episodes or the entire first season of the show. Now, there are other good shows that are on Netflix originals, or other shows from the past, at least from my era, my childhood being the 90s, some sitcoms are also on Netflix. But if you want to watch one Netflix original series, I would suggest 13 Reasons Why. Because you certainly learn a lot, maybe things that you didn't even already know, and especially for adults. I think even more so adults should watch this show, because I think adults like me and others just around my age and older will gain a lot and learn a lot from watching even a single episode of this. But it would best behoove watching from the very start to the very end, because then you'd understand the story more so than just jumping and watching a random episode in the second season. I get that. But if you want to give a series a chance, you have time to binge watch, I suggest binge watching the show and watching from season 1, episode 1 to season 2, episode 13. From start to end, and then let me know what you thought, and let me know if you wasted your time or if you actually enjoyed it. So I like to hear either way, because like I said, some people will like it, some people will be turned away from it. But like I said, I think it'd be behoove of adults to give it a shot and to check it out. But then again, it's just my opinion. So I thank you all that have watched live here. I do see I have a couple people watching live. Thank you. And those that are watching archive when it does post to the channel, again, you're welcome to follow me on Twitter at army_strong_06. Also can find my podcast on Facebook with the fan pages. Also, I do have Twitter handles for all my other podcasts I'm a part of. Check out all the other videos. I do talk about other TV shows here on this channel, along with the NFL and WWE and other topics, sports and entertainment. Welcome to subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed. I'll check out my secondary channel, Animated Awesomeness, where I do talk Star Wars, the Forces of Evil, and My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Hope you all have a great rest of your evening. Enjoy your day tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow night for my podcast, Steve's Wrestling Ramble, talking WWE on the road to Money in the Bank, which will be here in the Midwest in Chicago, Illinois on June 21st. So again, hope you all have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your day. Stay safe, have fun, and above all else, as always, take care.